This is a story of enduring love and commitment to our university that goes back more than half a century.
I grew up in the Midwest, but after my sophomore year of high school, my father really took to heart the Horace Greeley quote, "Go west, young man, go west," and we were off to California.
Richard Fleming became a Tiger for life at an early age.
I was only 13, but when I saw that campus, like it was love at first sight. So when it got time to apply for colleges, I put in an application to UOP. I told my parents I was going to be a Pacific Tiger, and that was that.
At Pacific, Rick found the intellectual diversity he had grown up with at home.
My mother was a poet and painter, and my father was in finance, initially in insurance, later in real estate and commodity trading. So I kind of grew up in a left brain, right brain household.
At Pacific, Rick would meet and marry the love of his life.
My husband, Rick, is a person of tremendous integrity, incredibly intelligent. It's like being married to the Encyclopedia Britannica, and that's been great fun.
Richard Fleming's attachment to our university has spanned 6 decades and includes a transformational term on Pacific's Board of Regents.
Rick Fleming is the regent that I would say you aspire to be when you're on the board.
He is, and I'm going to use a basketball analogy, he's the point guard. And their job is to make everybody else better. Rick does that in ways that, quite frankly, I'm not sure if I've seen in another leader before.
Rick's thoughtful shepherding of a plan to revitalize McGeorge School of Law is credited with its rising level of student accomplishment and prestige.
The results of that new plan are a successful law school with increasing enrollment, increasing bar passage rates, increasing job placement, and so on. Rick was a guiding force in turning that law school around.
I think that's one of the reasons he became a regent and has become more involved in the university, because he gets to see behind the scenes and how the operation is working.
During his 9-year tenure as a regent, Rick rose to become chairman of the vitally important Investment Committee.
And Rick was essential in the growth of our endowment during his time. And I would say Rick wasn't managing our portfolio, he was leading it.
Under Rick's leadership, Pacific's endowment grew from $150 to $600 million.
You want to be aggressive so your endowment's growing, but also cautious and safe to make sure you're not losing, because we're the stewards of essentially our students' funds for not just today, but for decades and centuries to come.
Rick and Diana Fleming's ongoing philanthropy to Pacific has given them the distinction of being Pacific loyal donors.
Diane and I have been very blessed. We came from loving families. We had top-tier educations, but we've never forgotten that many individuals do not have those blessings.
They have endowed scholarships for Pacific students.
We call them Promise Scholars, former foster children or temporarily homeless children who want to get a top-tier education at UOP.
And provided financial support to help Pacific students satisfy unmet financial needs.
Rick is very interested in UOP being a very successful, learning, protective environment for students, and to ensure that it grows and maintains that small feel, that inclusive feel. That's just part of who Rick is.
I think The leadership qualities and the way that we are trying to lead today, I think, is very illustrative of Rick Fleming's leadership.
If there is anybody who defines excellence for Pacific, it's Rick Fleming.
Affirming his lifelong commitment, generosity, and leadership of our alma mater, it is with great pride that the Pacific Alumni Association presents its highest honor, the Medallion of Excellence, to Richard Fleming.